Welcome to our video. My name is John Watts. I'm an Alabama consumer protection attorney. We're going to be answering another question about mortgages and specifically under the federal law RESPA, R-E-S-P-A. We did a similar video that should be probably very close to this video wherever you're watching it, asking about a notice of error under RESPA. This is going to be, please explain what a request for information is under RESPA law for mortgages. So notice of error is where you say, mortgage company, you've done something wrong. Request for information is where you're asking for information. So RESPA is the federal law that governs mortgages. And if you think your mortgage company has done something wrong, maybe what they've done is just confusing to you. You don't understand why they're doing it. And look, we see this all the time where mortgage companies will send out contradictory letters, sometimes dated the same day. We had one where they said, we're going to foreclose on you in the future. Same letter, or the same day, different letters said, we're not going to foreclose on you. And then another letter saying, we've already foreclosed. And it's like, well, what in the world is going on? This is where you can use a request for information. Maybe your mortgage company denied a loan modification and they say, we did it because you did not provide your tax return. And you know you provide your tax return. You sent them proof that you submitted your tax return. You've got the FedEx envelope, whatever it may be. And you say to them, a notice of error would say, hey, you made a mistake because I did submit my tax return. Request for information would say, why did you refuse to process my loan modification? And why did you claim that I did not send you my tax information when I really did? Here's the proof, the tracking number. Here's the green card from certified mail, whatever it is. So here's a couple of general rules for you. One request per letter. Make each letter simple. Separate out your request so that the mortgage company has no excuse. If you send them a whole bunch of things all in one letter, mortgage company, it's a bogus reason, but they may say it anyway, say, well, we got really confused because he asked us for 10 different things. Take away that excuse. Just send them one request per letter. So every letter stands on its own. Send it to the correct address. The mortgage statement will tell you, usually it's on the back side of it, if you're sending a notice of error, qualified written request, or a request for information, use this address. The website should tell you. You can call them to find out. If they don't give you a special address, you can send it to just the normal address, but normally they have a special address. You want to send your letters certified so you can prove they were delivered. Otherwise, mortgage company, I can't speak specifically to your company because I don't know which company it is, but the mortgage companies I deal with and that I sue all the time, if they get it and it's not certified, that thing's going to go in the garbage. And then they're going to say, what letter did you send to us? You're like, oh, well, yeah, I sent you a dozen requests for information. So they're going to say, we didn't get it. We even have the mortgage companies argue this when we have the green cards back from certified mail. They say, well, we didn't sign for it. So you can imagine what they do if it just comes with a first class stamp on the envelope. Yeah, you could also do it overnight. You could do it FedEx. You just have to be able to prove what you sent and that it was received. Well, what does a mortgage company have to do when they get a request for information? This is also true of a notice of error. And I'll just say this. You want to keep a signed copy of whatever you send so that you have proof of not only delivery, but what it is that you sent to them. Now, this law that we're going to talk about right here on this slide has to do with acknowledging your request for information. They have 5 business days to send you. When I say send you, I mean to mail it, so it might take longer than that. But 5 business days to acknowledge receipt of your request for information. So if you don't get that, you might wonder, well, did they really get my letter? Again, you have some protection built in because you send it by certified mail. Now, 30 business days after they receive your request for information, they have to respond to it. So if you ask for documents, they got to give you the documents. You ask for information, they have to give you the information, unless it's an improper request. If it's an improper request, they don't have to give it to you, but they need to tell you why they believe it's improper. I'll just say this, these companies are infamous for thinking everything is improper, even when it's clearly set out in the law. So be expecting that they'll say, oh, well, we could never give you blank document. It's probably something you're entitled to. If it's at all related to servicing, so your loan, how much do you owe on it, payments received, loss mitigation, things like loan modification, maybe having to do with your insurance, your escrow, all of that sort of stuff, you can ask legitimate questions for documents and information. Well, what if they don't respond? Well, you can get actual damages, compensatory damages. This includes mental anguish damages. You can get statutory damages. That can be $2,000 per violation. So we have some of these where we have sent out a total of maybe 30 or 40 letters. Usually that's in several waves of letters. So we send letters and they refuse to respond. So we send another set of letters. Why did you refuse to respond to my previous version of this letter? Maybe there's new things that they've done. And you start stacking up those damages. And so they fail to acknowledge, that's a violation. If they fail to respond, that's a violation. So there's a very, very powerful tool to get their attention, because they may be responsible for a lot of damages to you by refusing to respond to your letters. They can also be required to pay your attorneys their fees. So if you sue them in federal court, obviously a mortgage company has to pay its own lawyers. But then if you're successful, they may have to pay your lawyers. And that may be, for example, our rate at the time I'm recording this webinar or this video is $400 an hour. So if we're in litigation and we spend 100 hours on the case, well, that's a lot of money. We spend 1,000 hours on the case. That's a lot of money. So what does this do for you? It encourages the mortgage company to say, okay, you got us. You caught us breaking the law, and we don't want to have to pay our lawyers and your lawyers and pay you. So let's go ahead and settle this thing for a reasonable amount. That's what the smart ones do when they've been caught violating the law. Now, there are some that are not so smart, and they want to just fight and fight and fight, and they can pay the price for that when they do that. So keep in mind there are other laws that can apply. If you haven't watched our video on notice of errors, I suggest you watch that. That's also under RESPA. The Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, FDCPA, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, FCRA, those laws may apply as well, may have state laws that apply. So RESPA is a very powerful tool. Request for information is a very powerful part of RESPA, but you also have to look at other laws that may apply to you. So if you have questions about this, feel free to give us a call. If you live in Alabama, it's 205-879-2447, or you can go to alabamaconsumer.com. Now, if you have just general comments on this video, feel free to put those below here on YouTube if you're watching this on YouTube. If you have specific questions, then feel free to reach out to us directly. You can contact us through our website, alabamaconsumer.com, or by calling us at 205-879-2447. If you like this video, you can click on like, or you can comment, even if you disagree. We appreciate any comments that we receive, and we try to go through and respond to those as quickly as we can. If you want to share this, Twitter, Facebook, that's wonderful. And if you have ideas or questions about other videos, please feel free to let us know. That's where we get the ideas for these videos, is from you. So look forward to hearing from you, and I appreciate you watching this video, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.